the big event that happened, which was Elon buying Twitter. Was it a smart idea?
Elon has a humongous ego, and I love Elon. He saw it as a way where he could pretty much influence a lot of people into not only thinking kind of the way he thinks, but being able to get some of his narratives out there. What better place to do that than Twitter?
Welcome back to Chew on This, Season 3. Today, we are doing things a little differently. For those who are wondering where Ron is.
I'm not Ron.
We actually have no idea where Ron is. But today, we're going to be talking about a few different topics that I think have been super relevant on Twitter, some events that just happened like Superbowl, depending on when this episode comes out. But how we're kind of tying it back to our own businesses. And one of the things that we actually just did over the last summer into like the end of last year is we just acquired a coffee brand.
We did.
Called Coffee Over Cardio. And we've spoken a little bit about it. But we wanted to kind of go into the topic of the big event that happened, which was Elon buying Twitter, right? And the things that he did, why he did it, and I think I want to like kind of cover some of the things that we did, which were similar.
Yeah.
I think there's the senses of like, oh, why did Elon even buy Twitter,
Right.
What was the reason for it? And I think from our end is based on what he did, we could also understand why he did the things he did, right? So I think let's just jump right into it, right? What are your thoughts, right? Like, why do you think Elon wanted to get into this? What was, in your opinion, was it a smart idea?
I think, in my opinion, Elon has a humongous ego, and I love Elon. Okay. I think he has a really big ego, and I think that he saw it as a way where he could pretty much influence a lot of people into not only thinking kind of the way he thinks, but being able to get some of his narratives out there. And what better place to do that than Twitter?
That's true. I think he wanted to bring back, well, I want to be very careful about how I say this, but I think his whole point was making free speech or speech actually free, right? More free, right? I think there's a lot of things going on in the world, and I think there's some weird things happening on social media, right? So is social media truly advocating for free speech? Are there shadow bans if you're talking about specific topics or whatever it is? I think he took over to ensure the authenticity of the platform, right? I mean, I've been using Twitter when it first came out, then I kind of stopped, and I think now doing it more so for business. But I think his purpose of it is completely changed the game. And there's definitely pros and cons to it, right? You have, I think, everybody being able to be verified, which is, I mean, it's a money play for sure, but I think it also raises the question is, can you still trust the source of the accounts that are putting out information? Like how do you figure out what's real, what's not real?
Right. Do you like that though?
It's tough because it's like, how do you moderate stuff like that, right? It's like how do you find the line between, okay, this is free speech, but like not causing chaos by spreading false narratives?
But do you think that anybody and everybody who can have a verified badge they now feel more empowered to put out what they want to say because they feel a little bit more important? I feel like a lot of people, including me, when I wasn't verified, not that it's a big thing because everybody has it, but there's something about it where it's like, okay, this account is actually, they're paying to be verified. So whatever they're saying, they've put thought into it. That those accounts that are, shit posters and whatnot, they're probably not verified because they don't give a shit.
Fair.
I
see. That's like, that part of it makes sense, right? It's like you're always going to want to look for the good in, the situation. But I bet you there's like accounts, like there's parody accounts that are verified. right? And so it's like, how do you even distinguish? Like, there was one time I saw a tweet which I thought was from Elon.
Oh yeah.
But you're not reading the handle properly, and you're just like, wait, what is happening? What are you saying? And then you realize it's a parody account.
And you've already screenshot it and sent it to 5 of your boys. Now you look like a jackass.
No, I look so stupid. Yeah. I want to bring it back to kind of what we did, right?
Yeah.
So when Elon took over, there were massive layoffs.
Yeah.
Like I think I don't remember the number, but he cut a good amount, like a majority. Mm-hmm. Okay. A lot of people would see this as like destructive, like, all right, you're messing with people's lives, this and that. But to his point, the business could still operate without 80% of the people. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like something like 80%. Yeah. What do you think about that? Because we pretty much did the same thing when we took over the coffee business.
I do. I want to be careful with how I word this. We did something similar when we took over the coffee business. It's never fun doing that. But I think if you compare it to something like, for all you sports people out there, if you compare it to an NBA franchise and you get a new coach in there and a new GM in there, you usually clean house with your entire roster, more or less. And that is not because of the specific people and that you hate those people, but it's to pretty much start a culture change. And I think that was Elon's goal from the beginning. Yes, you can, kind of weed out some of the people you don't want, try to keep, filter people out, but isn't it just cleaner and easier to start from scratch? And I know it's easy to say when you're talking about people's jobs, but it really is if you look at the grand scheme of things. So for him, I think starting from scratch and putting his people in there, the people that truly believe in the culture he's trying to instill, I think it was a great move by him.
Yeah, I think there comes a point where even like the company itself becomes a little complacent, right? They're losing money. They're getting funded. Like, I believe Twitter was publicly traded.
There's a lot of fun being had.
Right? It's just like you come in, you realize that the job being done by 10 could be done by 1. And it's like, why are you losing money? Yeah. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? So, for example, for the brand that we bought, took a look at the P&L, took a look at everything, all the expenses, everything. And the company was not making money, right? They were losing money every month. They weren't generating enough revenue. Ads and everything were in a good place, but like they had a ton of licensing deals. Everything about the brand should have been selling. I just fully believe that there was way too many people in the weeds that didn't necessarily need to be there. And what we realized is that at Obvi, we had all the resources. Mm-hmm. We could literally cut out all the expenses from the coffee brand and it would instantly turn profitable. Yeah. So that's where I get why he did what he did, because you realize that you don't need this extra like fluff to make a company. Like it can be run, right? I remember seeing on Twitter, like ex-Twitter employees, like calling him out saying, oh, I was at Twitter for 10 years. I gave my life to this company. And he literally went back and goes, name 3 things that you did. Yeah. And like nobody had an answer.
Jeez.
And so it's like, I get it. Like you've been with the company, you have that like experience. And unfortunately, if you're not moving the needle, like any other business, the business should not be losing money. Yeah. If you're not moving the needle, you shouldn't be there. Yeah. And so I agree. You need to kind of clean house and make things more efficient. That's all he did.
I'm sure just with his network and all the businesses he's been a part of, for all those different roles that you need, the key role players, he had people. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, Mike's gonna go in here, John's gonna play here. Yeah. I got this guy from PayPal back in the day. He's gonna do great in this department, and he was able to fill that kind of infrastructure out really, really quickly. So for him, I'm sure he had all this plan before. It's not like he bought it with no plan. I hope not.
No, I mean, the guy's got way too much money to even worry about it. But I think the way that the platform is right now, is in a good position. My only thing that I did not understand was the rebrand to X.
Yeah.
And you being a brand guy, I would love to understand what you think about that whole transition.
Yeah. So his rebrand, as in Twitter itself to X, the culture, the values, I understand that whole part, because that is, I think, what he was trying to get across from the beginning. As far as like the visual identity and the way it looks, yeah, Twitter had the it factor. That was a beautiful brand, man. It was it's everything that, social media. It's this cute, fluffy, non-complex. It's almost like the Apple versus now. He's almost turned Twitter into Windows. And it's a little stronger. It's a little more, I guess, professional, buttoned up. I don't think they're fully done with that rebrand, because even if you go on the app, there's still some semblances of Twitter on there, as in like they've got this black and then they've got this blue, and I still don't know where they're gonna go with that. But I'll be upfront about it. I don't love the way it looks right now. I definitely prefer the other one. It was a lot more approachable. This one seems a little bit more serious, and if that's the vibe he was going for, then mission accomplished.
Well, let me ask you this, right? Like, I know Obvi, you've not rebranded, but you've refreshed, right? So it still has the same look and feel, just a little bit updated. This is a full rebrand, right? So when do you think like a rebrand needs to happen?
You see, you said it's a full rebrand, but if you go on the app and besides maybe the logo, what really changed about this?
Well, like nobody, like, here's the thing, right? It's called X now.
Yeah.
We're still calling it Twitter.
Everyone does, yeah.
Right?
It's a tweet.
But we tweet, we go on Twitter, we retweet this and that. But all of those like nuances are completely like, he's removed it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't, like, even if you search for Twitter on your phone,
right,
on the App Store or whatever, it doesn't come up anymore.
Yeah.
You have to search for X. So that's why, like, you basically, I find it confusing. Like, I don't think he needed to do that. Like, so I guess the question for you is like, are there reasons why brands need to like completely rebrand, change the name? Like, does it ever make sense to do that?
I think it does when it's almost, he did this humongous culture change. And when you instill something like that, and he almost wanted to change the values, the core values of the brand. And when you're changing that North Star, yeah, it makes complete sense to rebrand. I don't love how he did it. I wish it was cooler. But yeah, that's another debate. But yeah, I think rebranding for him, with all the changes, fundamental changes that he was making in the company, he had to do it.
Yeah. Fair. Hey guys, we're gonna take a quick break from the episode to analyze some of our top performing ads in our ad account. A lot of people have been asking me, what have you been running, statics, videos? Well, I'm gonna show you our top performing ads utilizing a platform called Motion, which pretty much analyzes all the data of all of our top performing creatives, ROAS, by spend, by CTR, CPCs, everything. So check it out. What's going on, guys? Ash here with another creative review. Just looking at our testing campaign for the last 14 days. We pull out anything that has a return over a 1. And so let's get into one of the next best winners. So this one is really interesting. This is actually what a native post in a Facebook group looks like. We got a ton of these from our Facebook community, and we really wanted to test this as an ad. So this is based off of a post in our community. We just recreated it so that we could actually run it as an ad. But the way and the reason this works really well is because it looks super native to the platform. It looks as if it's another Facebook group post. So when people see this, they don't necessarily believe or realize it's an ad right away. So spent $6,800 on this. Really solid return. So the click-through rate on this is really high. The cost of traffic is actually pretty decent compared to our average. I think this is an ad that anybody can go and create. Like I said, it's super native to the platform. There's a reason why it has high engagement. If you actually look at the actual ad, there's hundreds of comments on this already. So if you're looking to test out a new ad that looks very, native to the Facebook platform, and you get a decent amount of spend on the Facebook feeds, this is an ad I would guarantee does pretty well, and it's easy to create. And you can test any different headline, any text, review, anything you name it, so that you can hit different audiences and especially whether it be top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of the funnel. Whatever messaging relates to different people at different stages. This is one ad format that's easily able to create. So test it out. Let me know how it goes. If you're looking to sign up for Motion, click the link in the description for a special offer today.
Now, let's get back to the episode.
So switching gears from a rebrand from, like you said, Twitter being kind of fluffy, cute, to something a little bit more serious. Another brand that's kind of been talked about a lot recently, even given the massive exposure they had during the Super Bowl, Temu.
Are we saying it right? Is it Temu or Temu?
Temu? Is it Temu?
I don't know.
All right, yeah.
People are saying it differently.
I was on a plane during the Super Bowl, so I didn't even get to watch the commercials. But Temu, right? They paid for 3 slots on the Super Bowl, right? For commercials. Each commercial is $7 million.
Yeah.
For 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. $21 million for 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. The not backlash, but the response to the commercials was, this sucks. The commercials were horrible. It looked like somebody's 6th grade project.
Yeah.
But I think it was brilliant.
Yeah, I agree.
What are your thoughts?
Well, we're still talking about it. And I don't know if you logged on to Twitter kind of when the commercials were going off, but everybody's like, oh, I can't believe they spent all this money on these commercials and they suck and like whatever. At the end of the day, I don't know if you've ever seen the UI of this app. It sucks. It's awful. So they're completely on brand with this commercial because it doesn't seem to matter what they do. They're making money. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think whatever happened, whatever they put out, we're still talking about it. Like we just talked about Elon. You're not going to love everything he says, but hell, we're talking about him.
We're always talking about it. Yeah. I mean, I think it's them actually being authentic to themselves and keeping the same branding for the Super Bowl commercial. Like, it's not pretty, but like you said, you go to the website, it's not pretty, but what's really interesting is it's the pricing of everything, right? It's like everything's so cheap. It's, if you're trying to buy like anything, it's like the pricing just, you can't look away from it.
Yeah.
Right? But the flip side of this is, and this is where I think a lot of people, I would probably have to agree, is when you do log on, it is a Chinese-backed company. It does come across as looking like a scam. It does kind of perpetuate the same conversations that they were having around TikTok and the privacy concerns and the security concerns. Like, are they using that data for whatever it is? I don't know, right? Like, that's the part where you kind of get there, and it's like shopping on like Alibaba, right? It's like, you're shopping for, bulk, you're going to resell them in the US, this and that, but it's like you're actually getting it direct. So how is that any different from you buying something that's rebranded in the US but sourced from China versus just buying it direct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a little scammy, but like,
but is the point to look a little scammy?
Yeah.
Because Ron shops on this.
He did tweet this morning.
Avidly shops on this.
10 pairs of socks.
Don't let him tell you anything else.
$249. I mean,
but you go on that site to look for deals, so you can't expect this to look like the Louis Vuitton website. It has to look as shitty as the product you're about to get.
Yeah, like you are. Yeah, I mean, 10 pairs of socks for $3. Like,
you are what you eat.
Like, you could probably wear a new pair of socks every day for the cost of buying socks here. Like that's probably what it is.
That's how rich people stay rich.
Shop like a billionaire.
Yeah.
Right? People are receiving fake products, forced labor, things like that. I think like you get what you pay for. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like if you see like something that looks like the designer and it's for $5, it's not going to be real. So I don't know what the complaints are about.
I mean, a small percentage of the population is always going to have something to say. It's like these Nigerian phone scams where it's like the Prince of Nigeria and you got to send him like 5 Bitcoin. And like, there's a small percentage of people like Ron will get, he'll stay on the phone. So yeah, even with our Obvi customers though, there's always something that'll pop up. So I think that is heightened at a global scale because of the mass of this company.
Yeah. I think the other thing here is like I kind of want to rewind to what you said. It's like I can't believe this company paid $21 million for Super Bowl commercials. Okay, these guys are spending so much on Meta. I think a good chunk of revenue. When I say good, I mean like Temu stands out on Facebook's balance sheet. Like they're driving a lot of revenue for the brand, right? For Meta. For them to spend $20 million, they probably spent $21 million in a day on Facebook.
Really?
Right? You have to kind of like level set and see what it actually means for the brand. Like it's just awareness now at that point. Whereas like on Facebook, you're actually driving conversions.
Do you think that those Super Bowl commercials, they made money on that directly?
I think so.
Yeah,
I definitely think so. I think at some point somebody will go and actually check out the hype behind it. They might see 10 pairs of socks for $249 and wonder, should I just send it, right, for a couple bucks? I think it is appealing. I think it is definitely appealing. But the awareness has to be there, right? So that when you are thinking about buying something, you're like, you know what? Instead of Amazon, let me go check this out.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a brand awareness play. I think they did a good job at it. The fact that people are complaining, I think shows that they did a good job because it's something that you want to talk about, right? Like there's so many commercials that were like, okay.
We just don't even remember them.
You don't even remember them. Like they're
even the funny ones you don't really remember.
Like we're not talking about like one of my favorite ones was I think the T-Mobile one where they had all the actors.
Yeah, see, I forgot about that.
Right? Like it's T-Mobile. You remember because you saw the actors. Like my favorite show back in the day was Scrubs. So the 2 actors from that was there. But like Temu being what it did, like we're still talking about it, and that's the one that's memorable.
Yeah.
So think about it, right? Like it's marketing. But again, to the normal person, it's like this is bullshit. This is shit. Like I don't want to.
They probably spent $0 to make it too.
Yeah. So I mean, when you talk about ROI, it's insane. Because you not only get the reach during the Super Bowl, but it's on social, on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They probably got way more impressions just because of that. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate it.
I love it.
The stigma around Temu being kind of like a scam, right? It's like the negative connotations around it. Do you think brands should be allowed to advertise on like what is one of the biggest nights for advertising, like the Super Bowl? Like, should somebody be regulating that? Should it be approved? Should it not be approved? Or is it like, hey, I can cut a check, that's it?
I actually think you can't just cut a check. I think you do have to be approved to do it because you have to think about all the brands in the world. And not every, like there are brands that have the money and the ability to do this and they would do this. There's a reason that, there's only so many commercials on the Super Bowl. So I don't think that you can just cut a check and get on there. I think there is some sort of approval process. And for whatever reason, this benefits both sides. And I think every brand has the right to apply for it and make their case for it. So no, I'm not mad that.
No, it's a good point. I wonder what those like the prerequisites are.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
Because it's like for us, like we've tried to advertise on like Hulu.
Yeah.
And we'll always get rejected because the quality of the video isn't 100%
Yeah, it
there.
has to be commercial quality.
Right. Commercial quality, right? But then like Temu can whip up something on an iPhone and
that is true.
like I don't know. I don't know what the prerequisites are. Do you think Temu will hurt e-commerce at all? Just the pure fact, like just let's just take pricing, right? Forget the products, but like just pricing, right? Like if you start to see, like I love Bomba socks, okay? They're not cheap, they're not super expensive, but they're not cheap, right?
Yeah.
But now if you're telling me, I keep using an example, but if you're telling me I can get 10 socks for $3, like it's hard to not think about that, right? So does it become a threat to the rest of the brands?
I think it makes brands be better brand marketers. It's not all just about marketing anymore and your price. It's about raising that brand awareness and making somebody actually fall in love with what you stand for and your values, rather than just selling them a product. So yes, I do think it's a threat because a lot of people don't do that. They are just a product. But for those brands that have, a large community, core values, and have good infrastructure, then I don't think they should be worried about anything. The way they do market maybe has to change a little bit. Yeah. But yeah.
I agree. I mean, if you think of it this way, right? I'll give you the example of Obvi, right? So our collagen protein, when we first launched, we were price testing that like crazy, right? $39.99, $44.99, $34.99, $29. Like we were just trying to figure out what price point worked. I think we stuck to like $39.99, right? You get a discount, pop up, whatever. But these behemoths like Vital Proteins, priced significantly less, right? So if we were $39, they were $29, right? So if you're looking for a collagen, you can go to Amazon, get something for cheap. I think we stuck with the idea of you're buying into the brand, you're buying into the community, you're buying into the formula, which was at the time and still now is better than most or the majority on the market. Tastes great. And even then, it still becomes a little bit of a struggle. And we'll talk about this a little bit later on the retail side, but I do think it requires a lot to get people who are price sensitive to go from something that's $3 for 10 pairs of socks to 5 pairs for 50. Like for Bombas, like it's the mission that they stand behind, right? It's like they donate for every pair they buy, they donate one, right? So like that part of it is it means something. The quality of the product probably also is a big thing there. But it's the way that I think you put it into the messaging that is very important.
Now, do you think existing brands, they have, they could have a community, a customer base, big list, whatever. Somebody starting tomorrow, trying to compete with Temu, that might be tough because now, in the beginning, the way you acquire those customers is not honestly through branding because you don't really have a solid brand at that point. You are just selling product and then you are bringing them into something that could become a brand. Right. Now, if you're starting from square one and you have no backbone and literally it's your price versus them, that's where I feel a little bit scared is now all these new brand founders, what are they going to do to separate themselves from them?
Yeah. So the barrier to entry is a lot higher.
Right.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, it's tough to compete on price now when you don't have the ammo to do so.
Yeah.
But I think as to your previous point is that the bar for allowing like amateur products or like just branding and messaging, like
the products need to become a lot more proprietary.
Yeah. Like we'll probably get rid of like the crap.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like an oxymoron because like these brand owners, you can't sell crap anymore, but like
But you
Temu
kind of
is.
start with crap, though.
Yeah. So let's see, man. I mean,
Unless you get a bunch of funding.
yeah, literally, like that's what it is. It's like they're probably spending so much on Meta just to get you to shop for one thing, see the experience, see the pricing. You'll probably start shopping there,
Right.
You know.
Chew on This is sponsored by one crucial strategy that we just can't ignore as D2C brands, and that's email and SMS. We'll be sending a ton, and guess who's our go-to? We use SendLane. It's not just another tool, it's a revolution. With real-time segmentation, you're reaching users with precision when you hit send on that email or SMS. The reporting UI, you may ask? It's a breath of fresh air. Simple, straightforward, and gets right to the point. No more sitting through confusing data and random charts you have no idea about what it's saying. And here's the crown jewel, their customer support. Round the clock, weekends, holidays, 24/7, 365, always open like 7-Eleven. No exceptions, they've got your back always. If you want to elevate your email and SMS game and you're tired of what everyone in the industry is used to using, check out SendLane and see why SendLane is the name that's buzzing in everyone's ears. Dive in and you'll thank us later. Now, let's get back to the episode.
So segueing off of the example, right? The viral proteins and versus us and trying to enhance your marketing message, in a world where your category is a little bit commoditized. If people want something, they'll find it for cheap. I want to talk a little bit about our experience with retail, right? Because I believe the episode we spoke about when all three of us were here, we were all looking forward to seeing what retail does to the business, right? And I think you mentioned the biggest thing you were excited about was us getting into Walmart.
Yeah.
How do you feel how things have gone? I'll set the picture for everybody, right? Yeah. We launched into Walmart nationwide end of September of 2023, okay? One of our products, which is our flagship, is the Collagenic Burn capsules. It sits in the weight loss category next to your hydroxy cuts. It's at a beautiful price point. That quickly became a number one seller in the category, right? If you go to walmart.com, you search for fat burner, we're like the number one popular pick, consistently doing really well.
Yeah.
Now the collagen, that has not done as well, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about it, but why, and we've kind of like figured out how to address this now, but why do you think it didn't do well?
Well, let's just talk about it kind of holistically. We're not retail people. We're direct to consumer marketers. We've never really sat anywhere in retail. We've never known the price game, and there's a lot of different games you can play in retail that we, probably our fault that we didn't kind of educate ourselves on the way we go about it. Anyways, you talked about Collagenic Burn, and you said it's a beautiful, beautiful price point, and it is flying off the shelves. It is the number one in that category, maybe ever. That's how fast that weight loss category it's historically does not have high velocities. This product does. Now our powders, what we did when we went to Walmart is we reformulated the powders to make them even better. Added, made it all natural, added extra ingredients, the hyaluronic acid, the keratin, the everything else. That obviously raises our cost of goods a little bit. So what we did in Walmart is we kind of outpriced ourselves. We realized the Walmart shopper is a little bit more fickle. They are looking for a good price and good deals, and they should be because it's Walmart. And it's crazy because we're not priced like $50 versus a $25 protein. I think we're only like $2 or $3 off of Vital Proteins. It's crazy how that $2 or $3 makes such a difference. Yeah. And you'll talk about it, but we did a rollback and we pretty much decreased the price of our product by a couple bucks and saw a significant spike in sales. We're still spiking. We're getting back to that goal number that we had envisioned. So for me, it's a great learning experience because making something cheaper is really easy. Reverse engineering it, finding different suppliers, different ingredient suppliers, raw materials, whatever. We can find a way to make something cheaper. But it's good to know that, not to come into Walmart selling way higher than your competitors.
Yeah,
You won't win.
Yeah, I mean, I think the conversation is like it's way different from retailer to retailer, right? I think Walmart, the shopper scans for pricing first, then makes a decision. So if you are the highest priced in that category, you are definitely not catching the attention, right?
Yeah.
So for example, we launched into Walmart with the $26.98 price point.
Yeah.
Vital was at $23.98. Walmart's brand was at $15.98.
Right.
Okay. So Vital being Vital, you know, they were bought out by Nestle, marketing budget unlimited. They have Jennifer Aniston. They were the first to market, right? So
Sure.
just being brand agnostic to that, like that was like, or sorry, just being like, just having so much brand equity will move units.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have the $15.98 price point, which is, I know I need a collagen protein. I don't need the fancy formula, this and that. I just need 10 grams of collagen in my coffee every morning. I'm going to get the Equate brand.
Yep.
Okay. What we thought was people would love flavors, as they did as we went and we hit D2C. Like, people love the flavors. The formula is unequivocally better than what is on the rest of the shelf, right? Like you said, we loaded it up with hyaluronic acid, keratin. We're the only collagen that has keratin in it. Biotin, vitamin C, everything that you would need. And it was all natural.
Yeah.
People did not care.
Yeah.
The Walmart shopper did not care, right? And so we did the rollback. We went to $23.98. The same time, so we were priced at the same thing as Vital for maybe a week, and then Vital did another rollback to $19.98.
Yes.
And so we were in the same position, right? So we saw a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a lift, nothing crazy, but again, we're not competing, and unfortunately, it's a race to the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So we ended up doing another rollback to $18.98, so that we were cheaper than Vital, just to see, right? Just to see, is it really this price point? And that's when things started to move substantially better, right? You're undercutting the top dog in the industry. You're not too far off from the complete, utterly lowest priced possible there. But the problem is that at this price point, we don't make money.
Yeah.
I think we lose
a buck,
right? And so this is what you have to do when you're in retail is, one, getting in is difficult, but it's not the hardest part. The hardest part is staying there.
Yeah.
So now if we believe Walmart is the right partner for us, and we're doing anything we can to make it work,
Right.
you have to realize that what you kind of go in with the first round may not be what you renew with.
Yeah.
Right. So if Walmart decides, okay, cool, we're set on the powders. It's not making the category better. What can we do? I think to your point is reverse engineer this, right?
Yeah.
We found a price point that's working.
Yeah.
But we have to find cost that work for us.
Yeah.
So if, let's just say hypothetically, Walmart comes back and says, hey, we want to keep the brand, we love the brand, we're okay with this price point because they're still making their money, we're not making money.
Right.
How would you kind of tackle that situation?
Yeah. I mean, that is the best case scenario because it's such an easy fix. And I feel like we've done this in some ways on D2C in the past where, you know, we've had to dumb down a formula a little bit or find different suppliers. But to be honest, I have kind of all the scenarios already I'm ready for as I've talked to our manufacturers about, hey, this price point is working really well for us. This is the target price point I need you to hit for cost of goods. And let's make it work with this set of ingredients. Maybe tone this down a little bit, tone this down, get closer to our competitors, but still have some sort of differentiation points in our formula. So it is a lot about that. If there's a target price that works for you, and that's exactly what you were saying. We're losing a buck on every dollar or every bottle. But this learning lesson is priceless because now, okay, we're going to lose a little bit of money here, but my next purchase order, I'm going to make all that money right back.
You're paying for the knowledge.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think even what I would love to see is even getting it down to like that $17.98 and being like $2 cheaper than Vital.
Yeah.
And then getting our cost down, because one, it didn't seem like anybody cared about the formula.
Right.
So we can strip all the I guess the more expensive ingredients, because it didn't matter anyways.
Right.
Remove that. Maybe we could talk about serving sizes, right?
Yeah.
Because we actually have more servings of Vital, and so we can cut back on that.
Mm-hmm.
There's these things that we can really make some movement on, and we make that partnership work.
Yeah.
Now, here's the flip side to this is that this hurt D2C quite a bit, and so everybody thinks retail is such this goal that you have to achieve. We launched end of September, and D2C, truthfully, this Black Friday, 2023 Black Friday, was the worst Black Friday we've ever had.
Awful.
And that's just being completely honest with you guys. And the reason I believe that is because we ran a site-wide sale, 30% off. Mm-hmm. Okay. Our top 2 products are in Walmart at 50% off, half the price, if not more.
Yeah.
And so we've obviously done quite a bit of marketing for Walmart because we're trying to be great partners to them. We've blasted our list. Hey, we're now available in Walmart. The store locators are on the website. We're running ads constantly. If you are an Obvi shopper and you're a loyal follower, being able to buy your favorite brand in store on your grocery trips is priceless.
Yep.
You're going to do it, right? It makes 0 sense for you to buy online now when everything is cheaper in store.
Yep.
So when we did run the sale, it fell way flat compared to our first Black Friday, being a year into the business, did way better than this year being 5 years into the business because nobody came back to shop.
Yeah.
Nobody could shop. Like it made 0 sense, right? I think it took us time to understand the effect of retail on D2C. Don't get me wrong, the sales are being made up in retail, but now it's like if I can't convert as well online, I can't market and spend as much more on my marketing anymore. And I fear that that's going to hurt the sales in Walmart, the sales everywhere else. So it's a double-edged sword. So if you are looking to get into retail, the pricing of it has to make sense. You have to think of it from the consumer standpoint. So I think now we're thinking of things differently to kind of tackle this. Like what is our move forward plan to account for this whole phenomenon that's happening?
Yeah. I mean, for you, it's probably to separate out the marketing, as in, you have your retail marketing and then you have your direct to consumer marketing, and you're not trying to let that mix at all. And I think prior to that, we always thought, okay, just send everyone to Walmart. This will pay off in the long run. But we know, and we're talking about Black Friday, and you said nobody came back to shop, and it makes so much sense because our entire business model is kind of tailored around this community that we have, this 80,000 women. If you tell 80,000 women who are our most loyal customers that we're at Walmart, that's a huge hit because those were 80,000 women that we can market to for free on Black Friday every year. And now, imagine 80,000 people are gone. That's going to take a hit on your D2C store. So it made complete sense. I know we ran some data and some CRO stuff and just kind of figure out what was going on with it, and we found a huge drop off. So I think what you did was perfect, and you'll probably elaborate on it, but I think slowly we're coming back.
Yeah.
We've taken Walmart off of everything. Not that that's the right thing to do, but there are select spots to have Walmart.
Right.
And I think it didn't make sense for us to use our paid money to send everybody to Walmart. And honestly, we make more money online, so there needs to be 2 different strategies there.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think some of the strategies that we've now implemented, right, is like Ankit said, like in all of our emails we had now available at Walmart. Okay. We don't necessarily need that, right? We've already activated the customer base. If they want to shop for their favorite products, they can go to the store, right? Which opens up the idea of launching exclusive SKUs online to get those people to come back, right? I'll give you an example like Truff, right? One of my favorite brands. If I need Truff, I'm picking it up at the grocery store if I run out, right? I don't need to buy it online. I don't need to pay shipping for it. I'm going and just adding it to my grocery list. The minute they come out with something new that's obviously not in stores, I'm buying that online, right? So I think that's the strategy now is that although our top SKUs that we've spent millions on advertising dollars, we've perfected the marketing funnels for online, we almost have to start over with newer products so that we have a moat around online.
Yeah.
Right. So we've been talking about a couple new products that kind of expand out the weight loss collagen product line. So that's like kind of step one is getting that in the works, right? Step two, this is really interesting because you talked about some of the CRO data that we dug into. What's really interesting is that we do a really good job at converting somebody on the first touch point, okay? If for some reason you don't buy on the very first time you clicked on an ad and went to the landing page, you're technically in the consideration phase, okay? What we saw happening was our numbers prior to Walmart and after is that people started to go and look for reviews. They started looking on Amazon. They started looking at different price points that they see on Walmart. So imagine being a customer who's like interested in this product. You see it for $39.99. You're like, okay, cool. I'll come back to it. And you're like, all right, let me check Amazon. Amazon maybe a little cheaper, 2-day shipping. Okay. Then you start to see like Walmart show up.
Yeah.
Right. So if you search for our product, like Google Shopping, like Walmart will show up. And then you see that for $19.99.
Wow.
And two things will happen. One, okay, I can get a better deal at Walmart. Or why is there such a big price discrepancy? I don't trust the brand.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that you don't, there's no data to like back that. It's all behavioral. It's all psychology based. Yeah. And you have to like really dig into this and look at it from the consumer standpoint, like search your product, what comes up. This is not like people don't just click on an ad and buy right away. They're going to do their research. So think about it. Like, how do you go and like, actually buy a product? You're going to Google it. You're going to Google reviews. You're going to check Amazon. You're going to check this. You're going to check that. But if you start to see discrepancies, that was the point that we never really like thought through. And we didn't understand it until the data kind of pointed at it.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the biggest thing about retail that I think we've learned. And so once we kind of saw that, like over the last couple of weeks, we started launching new exclusive flavors of our collagen.
Yep.
And those have been selling out on the website.
Yeah.
So now it's like riding that momentum of how do we keep things fresh? How do we keep things new on the website? Maybe even Amazon, but also keeping Walmart happy by allowing them to kind of have our top SKUs.
Yeah.
But we also have to survive on the D2C end,
Absolutely.
right? While we're also figuring out this price issue with Walmart and how do we actually make money from Walmart? It's these nuances as a founder that, as a first-time founder, is you have no idea.
Yeah.
You just have no idea.
You said something interesting. How do we kind of keep up with I almost feel like we have to be 2 steps ahead of Walmart at all times, because right now, they have our Burn and they have a couple collagens. And right now we're heavily marketing our Burn Elite product, which is only available online. And now we got it on Walmart.com, and you've kind of seen a little bit of the effect there. Yeah. Now, how do we get 2 or 3 products ahead? Because, chances are they're going to bring that product in.
Right.
They see, the movement, they're going to bring it in. And now we kind of lost that for D2C.
Yeah.
You almost have to be 2 or 3 products ahead. So I would almost say you have to continually look for new hero SKUs all the time. Because those SKUs, and we've talked to other founders who are kind of in this supplement space, they'll launch a pre-workout, Walmart will bring it in, and now, damn, I don't have any other products to run ads to. But the smart ones are, 3 or 4 pre-workouts ahead already. Oh, I got this in the pipeline. And they're slowly growing those products. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to one of our board members, John Herman. The strategy of which he led, C4 and brands like that is, if retail is the end goal, the right way to do this is build up a product online, right? Send it into stores.
Yeah.
Build up another one, send it into stores. Keep doing this, right? And you start to have a massive collection in stores. The problem with some of these brands that started in retail and they can't figure out the online piece. Yeah. But we're working backwards, and we actually have the advantage of, we know how to market this online. We know how to make it valuable to retailers. And just like, it's just this cycle. So like you said, stay 3-4 products ahead.
Look at C4. How many pre-workouts? I think they have like 20 variations of C4. Yeah. And I can't tell you what the difference is, but their avid consumer can.
No, they take up the shelf.
Yeah.
Like, shelf presence is everything.
Yeah.
So it was great advice. And I think that's something we're following. And unfortunately, right, again, it feels like this time was longer because it's like, we're seeing the numbers kind of come down and you're like, what is going on? It was only October, November, December, January.
It's only
4 months ago. And you're waiting for that data to come in, and you're finally analyzing, and you're like, shit, like, this is what's happening, and how do we adjust? So moving quickly is very important. So yeah, I think we have a good plan forward, and
absolutely,
we'll keep you guys posted on how that does. So I know we talked about a lot of different topics, and also let us know in the comments if you like this format where we kind of talk about what's going on in the world versus how things are going on with the brand, and how it kind of relate the two. But if you had one thing for the viewers to kind of take out of this episode and reflect and chew on, what would that be?
Yeah, I think one of the most important lessons we've had in this past year was make sure that your direct-to-consumer online presence is always 2 to 3 steps ahead of whatever you're doing in retail, because that is what you're going to eat off of at the end of the day. And I wish we knew that earlier, but we're telling you now.
Yeah, I agree. I think to that point, one thing I would say to really take back is, if you start to see some distress in the business, there's always a reason for it. So whether you have somebody internal, like an analyst or some data or CRO company that you're working with, really dig into the data.
Yeah.
Look at, the pre-event, right? Significant event. Look at post, and try to make some type of theories that you can start testing.
Yeah.
Because if you sit there and you're just kind of wondering what's going on, you'll never get to the bottom of it. And so, yeah, it took us a few months, but we needed the data to come in. And once you come up with the theory, test it, and you'll probably be better off. So
chew on that.
If you want more from us, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, and check out the website, chewonthis.io.